Today is a huge day for Joey Does Tech. I paid £100 for this Apple MacBook Pro. It's a 13-inch 2015 model and the model number is A1502. The eBay listing basically states that it doesn't seem to charge or power on. It's dead. The only thing I fixed which is Apple related would have been my iPhone 5. Other than that, I'm absolutely clueless. But I'm so excited for today's video. The condition of this MacBook is pretty good. I've never even owned a MacBook, let alone a MacBook Pro, but it does just scream quality. When I was younger, my next door neighbor had an iMac and I was always so jealous that he had one. The screen also looks fine, but if I just angle it there, it has got a mark at the top of it and I can't seem to get that off, so I think that's on the inside of the screen. Without further ado, this is going to be a janky ride. Let's see if we can fix this MacBook. I also went and purchased this genuine Apple MagSafe charger specifically for the MacBook that I have. This cost me £32.50, but people I've spoken to have said it's always worth just to get a genuine Apple charger because some of the aftermarket ones aren't that great apparently. What is the purpose of this? What's that for? Specifically, it's a 60 watt MagSafe 2 power adapter. First things first, do we get a light on the adapter which can be seen on the charger? When we plug it in, let's have a look. There's no light at all. It's completely dead. I'm gonna turn it around. I know that probably doesn't matter with MagSafe, but I'm going to try and apply as much common sense as I can in this video. That is also completely dead this side as well. Now, it could be a faulty charger that I paid for. That does have potential. However, this is no power. So at the moment, I'm more inclined to say that this is foobar. If I open up the screen and we try and put the power on, do we get anything when we push the power button? No, we don't. We get nothing at all. I don't know if there's any secret commands to try and make this power on, but nothing happens. If I also try and wiggle the charger about, we still get nothing here. I think the next option is to take it apart, which is probably what I'm most scared about. But let's get under the hood and see what's going on. It's taken me ages to find out what screw head it actually is, and it seems to be this little star 1.2 that takes the screws out. I've seen so many videos from Lewis Rossman, my mate Vince, and to finally have one of these under my camera, it's a bit surreal for me. I know it sounds really silly, but I'm really looking forward to this type of repair. It's just another skill that I can hopefully learn. On initial inspection, it looks like we seem to have a few bits of liquid around the chassis. And also, if I zoom in here, there's a little red dot, which I can only assume was white before, and then if liquid damage enters the board in any way, shape or form, this turns red. Again, that's me trying to apply common sense with other electronic devices. I've plugged the charger in, and the first basic test I want to do before I do anything else, I've just disconnected the battery, but I just want to make sure that we're getting the amount of voltage that we need to come into the board over here. So if I just place black on ground and then have a little bit of a poke around. So on pin number 2, we get 16 volts. Pin number 3, we get 3 volts. Pin number 4, we get 16 volts. Pin number 5, we get nothing. So I'm pretty sure the first pin and the last pin are ground. And I can check that by, yeah, okay, so first and last pin are ground over here. I know it's quite difficult to see because it's right in the corner, but so that gives me good hope that at least we're getting the voltages that we need to come in to the board. I've already removed the logic board, but I'm going to do it again for your eyes. Can you see this bit of water damage that we have down here? Now, disassembly of this was pretty easy. I just used the iFixit guide. So if you're struggling to take apart a MacBook, then just jump onto the iFixit website, type in the model number, and they'll be able to help you. I'm using that along with the repair wiki that was made by Lewis Rossman as well, and the repair community. So feel free to check that out. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. Now back to the liquid damage. You see we have it down there and correlates to this component right here. Would you look at that? I think we found the issue. Having a brief look at the rest of the board, I can't see any other signs of liquid damage. It just seems to be on this location up here, which is really, really good. Me being me, I obviously don't have components for this board. I only have the one MacBook and I thought, I'm gonna buy it and see if I can fix it. If not, I'll use it as a donut or for spares. But to be honest with you, what I'm thinking is that we take this under the scope, we give it a real good clean, we try and reflow a few of these chips, and we see if it works. It does just look like they've been shorted out because of the amount of liquid damage between all of the pins. So if that's the case and we give it a good clean, maybe we get really lucky with this one. Maybe not. Maybe something is too broke to fix. Maybe that stuff shorting out could have affected the CPU, the RAM perhaps, even the SSD, the memory, anything. So let's go ahead and take this under the scope and see the full extent of the damage. Here we have the liquid damage underneath the scope, and as you can see, we have three, I don't know, well, you can't see, but it looks like we have three components here, maybe little resistors, and what looks to be a MOSFET here. This is literally the only area the corrosion starts and ends. Maybe we have a little bit down here, but majority of it is kept in this area, which I think is really good news. But like I said, we don't know the extent of the damage. So whether this has had a knock-on effect on any other components, even though it doesn't look like there are any issues anywhere else, that's not always the case. I've been extremely lucky that this has been pointed out to me so obviously. I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush and give this area a quick clean, because I know that this is the area we have an issue with. And as you can see, this is now what we're looking at. Look, it looks like a completely different, clean board. I have no doubts that these capacitors here that we can see now, they're not little resistors, they are capacitors. I'm not able to flick them off the board, so they still have somewhat a strong connection to the board. But as you can see, I don't know if you can see here, there seems to be a little bit of liquid water damage underneath this MOSFET. So we're just going to reflow these three components here and this MOSFET with a little bit of flux, and then I guess we can just give it a test. Before we heat it up, I could also do a test in continuity mode, which is the mode that beeps when we have a complete circuit. I'm going to put the black probe on ground, and I'm just going to check on these caps. So this must be ground side, these bottom sides. Are any of these grounded? Because if they are, we could have a shorty cap, which could be an issue. Nope. Nope. And nope. So I think all of these caps are still good, which is nice. Now, one of the ways that I know how to test a MOSFET is to put the meter into diode mode, put the red probe on ground, and then I'm going to use the black probe here to test the gate of the MOSFET to see what reading we get. Now, usually we're looking for around about 0.5 to 0.6, at least that's what we get on Xboxes. And we get 0.68 voltage drop here, which is the same as what it should be on an Xbox. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is okay also. Now let's just reflow these components. So I'm going to put some flux on the board now. This is Kingbo flux. Can never have enough. Temperature wise, I'm going to go for 310 degrees Celsius. I don't know how thick these boards are. I've tried doing a little bit of research online, but I can't find an answer. So I'm going to start with low end 310 at about 50% airflow. And then if the solder isn't wetting on the board, I'll increase the temperature. Nothing seems to be happening, so I'm going to put it up to 350. I'm going to change to a bigger tip. I'm going to put up to 375. I'm increasing it now to 400. There we go. Let's give it a clean. These pins down here all connecting, it doesn't matter because they're all on the same connection, but these ones need to be separated, I think. But these ones up here, I'm just gonna put an ounce of solder on the soldering iron just to ensure that they've got a good connection. And I'll also do the same on the caps as well. I don't even know if that cap's on there properly, you know. Definitely not. Blast it with heat. Okay, being honest, I think this cap is completely done for. I think the side of it has come off. However, reading these caps, I get a voltage drop of 0.130 here and 0.130 here, and here I also get the 0.130. But if I put the meter into continuity mode and I try and measure here for ground, I don't get that because, yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, look at it. It's done. Right, get off, get off, get off. I'm sure we're going to be okay because we have these caps here in its place on the same paths. So I'm hoping that we managed to clear all of the water damage that was underneath this chip, and I've potentially cleaned up any mess we had here. So I'm going to put the board back in and I'm going to give it a go. Wish me luck. And of course we can't forget to get all of the thermal paste off of the CPU and the heatsink. There we go, lovely. We have everything back together, and you might be asking, like, why have you put everything back together, Joey? Well, even that process of taking it apart and putting it back together will be beneficial for me. So I have the charger, I'm about to plug it in. If I see a light here, I will be doing cartwheels. If not, no biggie, we take it apart, we continue investigating and see what's going on. Here we go, do we get a light? It's in. We still don't have a light, unfortunately, which doesn't give me great hope for it actually turning on. So if I open up the MacBook and now give it power, do we get anything on the screen? No, nothing. And right now I need to do some more research to see why this potentially isn't working. Several months later. It only took me a month, but I'm back. I purchased a donor board for the exact same MacBook Pro for a grand total of £25. Yes, this repair is getting slightly expensive, but it's all in the good name of at least just taking apart MacBooks and learning how to fix them, or trying to at least. I'm going to take the MacBook apart again, and we're just going to inspect and make sure that I have the parts that I need on this motherboard. Just in case people are curious, I think it makes perfect sense to just show you that I've got the MagSafe charger plugged in with the charging bit that actually connects to the board now, the DC in. I think that's what it's called. If I put my black probe on ground and go to the area where we were, which is up here with the MOSFET, you can see that we're drawing 12 volts on the top side of the MOSFET the whole way. If I go to the bottom of the MOSFET, we get an output of 4 point something amps, but it keeps dropping. You see 4.3 point, and it keeps going lower and lower, 2.7. If I remove and go back on, we got the 2.4, 2.3, 2.2, 2.1. So something is draining here, 1.9, and I don't know why that's happening. If I measure the top of the capacitors, I've got 12.2 volts, another 12.2, and then lastly, the one that actually fell off just on that pad is giving me 12.2. Other sides of the caps are indeed ground. Without looking into this with too much detail, I think maybe the MOSFET might be faulty, so I don't know if it's worth trying to swap that out with the one that we have on our donor board here. First off, I know it sounds strange, but I'm actually going to reflow this MOSFET, and the reason why is because I'm getting readings in diode mode on these 3 pins where I don't think I should be. I think these should be ground, but again, I'm not too sure. I should have a reading here, which I do, and it drops to 0.7 volts. These 3 are coming up as like 0.1, 0.2 voltage drop in diode mode. I don't believe I should. Just give it some flux. I've just tested the power again on this board and it's still not working. So what I'm thinking of doing is replacing this MOSFET along with these caps with the ones on the donor board. The only issue being is that this MOSFET is different to the one on this board. It's longer, but I think it's going to fit because you can see we've got less room up here. So I feel like it's the same size, which is going to transfer over. I don't have another donor board. And the thing is, this is an A1502. However, the board number is ever so slightly different. We've got a CJ3D and a CI or L3B. The numbers at the end are slightly different. We've got an 04M0 here and an 04J0 here. Other than that, every single other component on the board looks identical. It just seems to be this. So let's do that now. Just get rid of that little blob. Again, a little bit of flux. Just drop that there. Turn my iron. And again, just to make sure everything is connected hunky-dory on this side. Perfect. I've just put a little bit of solder on the end of my iron, some leaded solder, and I'm just going to put some flux here to retin these pads. Make sure we get a solid connection when we put the caps on, nice. I've gone with a temperature of 450 degrees Celsius and the airflow speed is at 20%, just to avoid any mistakes. Very shaky today, very shaky. I think it's because it's nerve-wracking, you know. So what I'm going to do now is just put a tiny bit of flux and come back in with the hot air and let those caps sort themselves out, ready? You should see them dance about. There's one. One on the end's being a bit stubborn. That's fine. I wonder if this is going to work. I'm actually quite doubtful now. I'm actually quite doubtful, but who knows? Maybe I should have some faith. I think if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to start looking at other areas of the board. I was only focusing that one because that's obviously where the water damage was. I know there are also board views out there, but I don't currently have access to those board views. This is what it looks like after we've finished. I'm just going into diode mode to check that we have... Okay, so we still have 0.1 on this MOSFET across these 3, and on this one we have 0.6. Don't know whether that's good or not. This side we have complete ground. These caps, I'm assuming, will have the 0.1 as well, which they do. This side ground, this side is indeed ground. Okay, this component here also shares the 0.129 voltage drop on each side. This cap has the same, and then it's grounded this side. Okay, let's test and see what happens. Okay, so we're looking for a light on here, connection, any light whatsoever, come on. Give me a green, or even a red, I'll take it, or an orange. Even rainbow, I'll take a rainbow. Absolutely nothing. I know in fact that this charger does work because I've tested it on another board and we do have a light. So I know that there's nothing wrong with the charger. Plugged it in the other side as well. Any light? Doesn't look like it, does it? Okay, back to drawing board. I've checked pretty much everywhere on the board that I can. This is the connector. I don't know what connector this is. It might be battery. This is the other side to where there was corrosion. So identically on the other side is where we saw all of that mess. I think this is just flux that's gone through. But I was looking around all of these components as well to see if there was any water damage or liquid damage that had, you know, if it was on the other side of the board, chances are it's probably on this side as well. But I can't see anything. I've done numerous amounts of testing in diode mode, voltage mode, just to see what's going on. Strangely, on this cap and this cap, we get the same error that we had on the other side, which was the 3 volts, then just counting down. So 3 to then 2.9, 2.8, 2.7. But that does also happen on the donor board that I have, but I get a charging light on the charger with that board. So I actually think that's normal. There's no signs of liquid damage anywhere else on the board. I'm now a little bit stuck when it comes to this MacBook Pro. I'm going to try one more thing quickly, and that's to remove this chip here. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I saw it on a Lewis Rossman video from the repair wiki that I was talking about earlier on in this video. So he was saying in his video that this was lower voltage than what it should be. Now that's come off. If I plug the charger in, what happens? Do we get anything? Do we get a light? Because on his video he got a light almost straight away. No light, still nothing, no green, just a deep dark hole. Okay, I'm gonna put that chip back on. And there we go, a bit of a messy job, but I've now put that chip back on. Has anything changed? I highly doubt it, but it's worth a try. No, it's a green light. What? Orange light, wait a minute. Is this the right board? Yeah, it's definitely got the donor board. Okay, wait, we have an orange light. Wait, so did a reflow fix it? No way. Where's it gone? There it is. Now that you're behaving, I'm gonna give you a clean. I just took it off and put it back on. That's literally all I did. I can't believe I have a green light. Okay, so I'm gonna put it back in the case and I'm gonna see if I get fan spin, because apparently that's like one of the first things to look out for to make sure that it's all working. A sip of coffee for good luck. There could be so many other things wrong with the laptop, but the fact that we didn't have a light and now we do, just because I reflowed a little chip, is incredible. Does that get us any further to a fix? Let's have a look. Here we go. I'm putting it in 3, 2, we're looking for the fan. 1. Here we go. It's in. Do we get a light? Oh, we don't get a light. We did have a light, we don't have a light now. Okay, so why don't we have a light now? I was so close. I thought that was it. Honestly, I thought that was it. Let's have a look. So I've taken everything out, and what I just want to check and see is if we get the light on the charger when everything's outside the case. That way it might be like a potential short or something going on when we put it in the case. I know it sounds silly. No, we don't get anything, look. No light on the charger at all. Just taking the fan out as well, and we have no difference whatsoever. So it was on, but now it's not. That chip that I just removed, what I'm going to do is replace it with the other chip on the board, because all I done was took it off and put it back on. Maybe that chip's gone now. So I'm going to use the donor board and put that chip on here. Let's take this one off. Put this one on. Nice. Okay, here we go. Do we get a green light? Or any light? Yes, we do. Okay, we have the green light. I don't know if you can see. And it's gone to orange. Sweet. So, tell you what else we're going to do. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to plug the fan in before we reassemble. And I want to see if that fan spins. So what do we think? Here we go. Do we get a green light now that the fan's in? Yeah, we get a green light. Does this fan spin? Come on. If not, then it's completely understandable. It does? Wait. Come on, let's go, man. Does it carry on spin or does it just stop? I've got nothing on the CPU, so I want to stop this now. But we get fan spin. Stop. Okay. Let's put it back in the case and see what happens. Oh dear. I've got everything back together almost as if like a grand reveal sort of thing. So all the screws are in, I've put the heatsink back on, I've put thermal pasta on. It's all good to go. I really hope it works. If it does, I'm going to be ecstatic. If not, I'm not going to be too bummed out because this is my first ever attempt at repairing a MacBook with no power. Here we go. So we're looking for a light, first of all. No! No, I jumped the gun again too early. God damn it. Why did I put every single screw back? What about if I take it out and put it back in? Nothing. What about if I push it back in really hard? Anything. Come on, please. God damn it. I'm just taking it out of the board again. And we got a green light. But it's not going to orange and we're not getting a fan spin. So Lord knows what's going on with this board. It's not going to an orange light. So if I take that out and put it back in. And now it's not coming on. Well, what's going on? I was just cleaning off the thermal paste. And again, I just started probing with my multimeter and it's come on again. But I guarantee If I take it out and put it back in, it won't come on. And look, it don't come on. What about if I leave it for a second then? I've waited a good couple of minutes now and it's not turning on. But I wonder if I start probing around and just keep an eye on the green charger now to see if it'll come on. Because imagine if it comes on if I start probing around. It's really strange. So I get nothing there. 3.4, 3.4 volts, 2.7 volts, 3.3 volts, 3.4 volts, 3.4 volts. I have no idea if this is correct or not. Unfortunately, we're at a point now where I cannot, for the life of me, get the charger to go green again. I reheated the back of the board where we removed that chip, but still we get nothing on the board. Fan's not doing anything because we're not getting an orange light on the charger. Now hear me out. This is the donor board that I purchased and it says 2015, no power. I'm wondering if I put those components back on this board and then we try and fault find what's wrong with this one, if that would work. I'll obviously keep this board as maybe a donor, or again, if anybody knows what's wrong with it, then we can attempt to fix it in another video or live stream. So let me just quickly put the components back on this board and we'll see what error we're getting with the no power. Now just to confirm, this is our donor board MacBook that doesn't work, and I think I found the problem already because I've put the power in, but this accidentally burnt me, so that's how I think I know that it's this component that is faulty. If I go ahead and put some IPA on this component, just like that, and then I'll go to put power into it in 3, 2, 1, it says power on it now. Watch how quickly, look at that. That MOSFET is kaput, and again, look at that. That's how quickly that's dissolving. Not the cap next to it, that MOSFET itself. Issue being is it's very close to this connector as well. So I'm just going to try and get this MOSFET off really quick and see if the short's still there. Okay, I've put a drop of IPA back on the MOSFET and I'm about to put in the power in 3, 2, 1. We've got a green light, we have an orange light, and it doesn't look like, other than just from the right there, it's not taking up anywhere near as much IPA, if any. If I put some on this little cap here as well, we seem to be good. Okay, so there's no heat spot. No way was this one that easy. Remember, I bought this board off of eBay as a donor for the other one. How much did I pay? 35 or 25 pounds, something like that. I don't know how it works with the SSD because I have the SSD from the other board. Anyway, let me put the fan in this and see if it spins up. I'm going to try and save as much confusion as possible. I've put everything back together. I've only put one screw because I'm learning from my mistakes. I've swapped the SSD, so this is the SSD from the original MacBook that we bought that was faulty. But this logic board here is the donor board that we bought for 25/35 pound, whatever it was. I don't have faith that this is going to work because again, like I said, I don't know about the SSD and stuff. I'm just putting my charger in. Let's see what happens. Do we get a fan spin is the question. Okay, charger's in, we get a green light, that's really, really good. Orange light, fan spin should be now, I think. But we don't get anything. Doesn't give me hope. Should we see? Okay. We got the startup tone. Okay. Really nervous. So if I thought the fan was meant to start spinning. So what happens if I try and open it now? The backlight is on, I think, but I don't get any image on the screen. The backlight's definitely on, and we still don't have a fan spin. Oh my God, it's on. No way we managed to fix this one. This was the one that I bought, like the cheap board. Let's just close that back down. Why is the fan not spinning? I just need this fan to spin. That's the only thing that I'm worried about now, is this fan just not spinning. Why? Why aren't you spinning? Okay, so the fan is now spinning, which is awesome. And I've ended up on this screen, which it asked me to connect to the internet. So I'm just waiting for that to go through and then we'll see what happens from there. It's not giving me a battery percentage. It says 0, but it doesn't say charging. So I don't think the battery is playing as it should, but let it just finish this and we'll see what we need to do next. At the moment, as you can see, the little globe is still turning around. You might not be able to see, but if I just tilt it up, you can. It's trying to do internet recovery. After it does this, it then turns around and says, there is no volume to choose to reset password. So I need to figure some stuff out, but the MacBook is on and working using the donor board that we bought as faulty to fix the other one. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. I'll be posting updates as to what's going on with it in my Discord after the video goes live, so feel free to join the Discord using the link down below in the description. Pause that frame, have an update. After a lot of fiddling about, I managed to get the MacBook working, and it runs okay when it's not recording on OBS at max quality. It's framing loads in this video. I think that's only the recording because it was fine otherwise. Overall, I'm massively happy with this little YouTube machine. But thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Let's go.